everybody. We are back again for another episode of the Coach's Compass. Now, remember, I don't remember what episode it is. We just continue to record, continue to bring on cool guests from all across the world. Now, remember, hit that like, subscribe, comment button down below so you continue to have this thing grow and continue to bring on cool guests from all across the world. But I've got another special guest with me today. I got Coach Bowman. He is the owner of Synapse Performance LLC. He has 16 years as D1 strength conditioning coach. He also, and most importantly, is a husband and a father. Coach, thank you and welcome to the Coach's Compass.
Thank you very much for having me on. I'm excited.
Man, I'm excited too, man. Just looking at the resume and everything you've done. Coach, when did you realize that coaching was more than just a job and it was your calling?
Oh, man. Well, quick backs. I played college football and realized I was way better at lifting and coaching other guys than I was playing football. Played little special teams, and that was like Super Bowl for me. I loved doing it. But what I really realized when we were training and stuff, like I loved watching guys move and do stuff like that. So I was like, you know what, maybe this is what I need to be. This is what I want to do. And I wanted to be a doctor when I first went to college, and then realized quickly that was not what I wanted to do.
I mean, you got all the stuff behind you. It looked like a doctor's office.
Yeah, nervous system and all that type of stuff. Yeah. But I just fell in love with it. And when I was at the University of South Dakota, when I graduated, they were leveling up from Division II to FCS football, and they needed a strength coach. And I was like, hey, I would love to help start this program up. And so I did that. I got my master's degree, doubled up on that so I could learn that athletic administrative side of things. So I knew how to speak to them and how to approach them because I already knew the physiology, anatomy stuff. So I did that, and then and all of a sudden they were like, hey, you want to be the head guy? And I was like, absolutely, let's do it. So I took that program over and built it up. In 2018, moved down to Tulsa and helped revitalize that a little bit with a good friend of mine, Eric Anthony. And but yeah, I mean that's kind of what I just love, watching people find a new level of athleticism or athletic optimization, and just I knew that was going to be my calling.
Was it hard though, to kind of let go of that side of being an athlete and calling yourself, a football player and go full time into coaching and helping others, achieve higher rate positions that you never achieved? Was it hard to make that transition?
It was really hard because what's funny is as soon as I got done playing college ball, they needed strength coach. So I started coaching my own friends that I played football with. So when I graduated, I was starting to coach guys that I was, going out around town with and, just hanging out with and playing video games with, to going down and saying, hey, you got to get on that line. And so that was really hard right away, but I was blessed with really good teammates, and I had respect built from them. So they listened. I knew what I was doing. So that transition for the first 3-4 months was pretty tough, just because I went from the guy that, would be building them up and trying to encourage them as a teammate to the guy saying, hey, you didn't touch the line, get back. And so, or hey, that was not a good rep, or having to criticize them as a coach instead of a peer. So, but it was cool. I mean, they were really cool with it. The hardest part really was the transition from player to coach to the administration, because they saw me as a player for the past 4 years. And then I started coming at them with, all the stuff that we need and all this type of stuff. And that was a hard hurdle to get over, because I had to speak to them differently. They had to look at me differently. And at that time, man, I was 23 years old, right? Never interned. I had a weird path. Obviously, I didn't intern. I did a GA at the same school I played football at, and then I became head strength coach. So I had
that's one of those that you don't really hear about.
Yeah, it's a very weird path to my career, but I wouldn't change it in a heartbeat.
What are the parts of coaching that you didn't know and wish somebody would have helped prepare you for?
Oh man, just the different ways to handle all the different athletes. And at that time, there were 17 sports at USD and one strength coach.
What?
So trying to manage all that stuff and making sure I wasn't, because I'd never seen, like a big Division I school run a program, because I didn't go intern. So trying to figure out what worked, what didn't work. And, you had to do all your own research and trial and error and figuring out, all right, well, that was a really dumb program. I need to figure that out. That didn't work out. And at the beginning, I just, read books and apply what's going on in that book. And at the end of the day, some of those applications didn't quite work for the athletes we had, or the methods, or I try to, do some sort of triphasic training, and I didn't quite understand triphasic training at the time. Like I did it totally wrong. So just being humble enough to understand, like I need to go out and learn and go site visit schools and things of that nature. Back to that question about what I would have done different or someone would have told me is like, hey, when you can, go to another school and watch what they do and see how a high operating program does that stuff. In 2011, I went down to Iowa State with Yancey McKnight and Eric Anthony, who ended up being my boss down here at Tulsa. I was able to go down there and I stayed 4 days and just watched how they ran all their winter programming stuff. And it opened my eyes to a whole nother realm of things. And then that's when I realized, all right, I need to call in, I need to call coaches, I need to see what I don't know.
Do you feel like it helped or hurt your journey by you not taking, an intern role or a GA role, at a bigger school and then kind of moving down or something like that? Or do you even think that it's needed for a lot of coaches to go through this? Or how do you feel it hindered your journey?
The way I look at it, I mean, a double-edged sword for me. Obviously, I became a head guy at a young age. And then it was my alma mater, so I wanted to continue to build that program up. But I didn't have a huge network. I didn't have a bunch of coaches to lean on or to put my name out there to find a new job or level up. So I had a very small circle. I had a really powerful small circle, but I didn't rub shoulders with a lot of people. And because we were so busy all the time, I didn't have a bunch of time. I should have found more time to go visit other coaches or at conferences and stuff like that. Hey, just go introduce yourself to somebody. So I wouldn't change it, but I do believe it probably hindered me a little bit because I didn't have a huge network, a huge circle to continue to level up. Again, I 16 years as D1 strength coach, and I was at 2 spots. I was at the University of South Dakota in Tulsa, and that was it.
It's not, I mean, it's kind of good to only go 2 spots when you got a lot of guys that have gone 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different places. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to worry about all the moving and everything like that. And it also probably helps a little bit with like the family side. You don't have to worry about keep uprooting everybody.
Absolutely. I married my girlfriend at the time. I met her at South Dakota and all that stuff, and she's been very supportive. She'd take multiple different jobs, whatever it is. But as soon as you add a kid into that component, that adds a whole new deal where you're like, hey, I got to think of the school system. I got to do all that other stuff, and it's got to be the right move. And I can't. When you start a family, it's like, can we afford to do this? It comes down to a money thing, and that's not why I became a coach. I didn't become a coach, become a millionaire. I became a coach to help people go from one side of the bridge to the other side of the bridge. And so doing that, being at 2 schools was great. It's not heard of a lot, but it also, again, it probably hindered my growth as a strength coach as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but you're in a great position that you're at right now. You know what I mean? Not many coaches can say that they have their own place. How do you handle, though, the pressures of pouring into your athletes while managing your own personal life? And the mental health or the burnout and all that stuff. And then, being a dad, being a husband, all the things. I mean, those are parts that a lot of coaches struggle with and learning how to find the disconnect from work and your home and have that, what they consider work-life balance. How's it been for you?
Yeah, when I was younger, we had our daughter in 2017. And before that, I just worked. My wife had a really good career as a fitness coordinator at University of South Dakota. So we were always just working and stuff like that. And we found time to, still date and do all the stuff to keep the marriage right. But it's when you have a kid and then you're like, okay, I got to come home and I got to check everything at the door and be super present for my newborn or whatever it might be. It got easier as you got more staff, so you find really good assistants that, hey, I don't have to be at my desk 24/7 to make sure everything's running right. So I would say as a head guy, having the assistants there that know the framework that you want to work under, but giving them the leeway to do what they want to do allows you to free up a lot of time. And just, you got to trust them. You got to hire the right people and trust them to do the job. So if you're on vacation, you're not like always looking at your phone, checking and seeing, or not even at your home on a Monday during summer where it's summer break and the guys aren't there, but you have open hours. You don't have to feel like you're there all the time, and nowadays, like open gyms on Saturdays and now it's 24/7 recruiting, so you can have official visits all the time. And so for me, that was more of a quote unquote beatdown, is because you'd have plans on a Saturday or even a Sunday and be like, we got to recruit them.
Yeah.
So I got to be present because I got to be part and even as an assistant at Tulsa, like you don't want to let the staff down. So you feel like you got to be at everything. And EA was phenomenal boss. He's like, you don't got to be at everything. We'll just rotate it around. But I just wanted to pour into the athletes all the time, like you were saying, and get them to the next level they want to get to. So you felt guilty being at home. And as I got a little bit older and, really at Tulsa, after the first 2 years, I kind of was like, all right, I'm going to listen. I'm going to do this rotation deal and not be there Monday through Sunday and, doing all that stuff. Because the hours are unique, the days are unique, but it's pretty hard to trump how you feel after you see a victory on the field or you see a kid do something they've never been able to do. And, later in my career, I was really big into the return to play and getting them back quicker after some sort of trauma that they had, ACL, broken leg, whatever it might be. Yeah, learning that balance is just, you got to set your priorities right, and at the end of the day, we always talk faith, family football or faith, family whatever sport it is, but do you really live that? Do you really put your faith in your family, if you're faith-based or whatever, in front of all the other things? And as I got older, I learned like, hey, that stuff's really important. If those are out of line, your life's going to be a little bit out of line, and the players see it. And if the players see it's out of whack, then it's a little bit harder to coach at your best.
Whenever that was, never aligned or you felt like it was too much coming about, did you ever consider walking away from coaching? And if so, like what made you stay? What made you continue on?
I never thought about walking away until probably it got really hard during COVID because we had to run so many groups and there's so many protocols and things of that nature. I don't want to say I thought about walking away. I was like, man, I'm putting a ton of time and effort into this. And some days, you're there at 4:30 and you get home at 9. And you're like, where'd my day go? My kids are in bed already. And I want to sit on the couch and just chill. But no, I got to get back up and do it again and do it again and do it again. But what drove me really is, the athletes and building the program and, chasing wins and trying to do our best to make sure we put the best product out there for the coaches. But, it came to a point in 24 where I was like, you know what? This, I wouldn't even say my mental, like I just wasn't being me anymore. I wasn't coaching the way I used to coach, not even philosophy wise. Like I didn't, my whole heart wasn't into it. And at that moment I was like, you know what, there's probably, there's a lot of external factors that led into that. You got to be with the right staff, you got to be with the right people. And in 23, that kind of changed a bit. And then 24, I was like, I'm really good at this neurosensory stuff that I've been doing. I'm not as present as I want to. I have a 8-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son, and like I never see them. I want to be more present. And I tried and I did that, and then I realized, I had a couple of really good friends that, hey, you can start your own deal. You can blow it up in Tulsa. You got a name. You got a skill set that not a lot of people have with the Square One system, neurosensory work. And I was like, all right, well, again, leaned on my faith. I was like, hey, I'm gonna thinking about it, talk to my wife. She's like, why not? I'm like, why wouldn't you do it? I was like, well, because college athletics has been my life since 2003. Like I was a player, transitioned into a coach, and that's all I know. She's like, well, you're still going to be a coach. You're just going to do it on your own hours, your own basis, and you're going to charge your own rates. So I was like, all right. So I woke up in February and I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start this thing. I'm going to resign and I'm going to step away. And there's a lot of changes going on. So I said, here we go. Let's take that leap of faith and venture out and try something. I have no skill set in building businesses. I just know how to operate the human body. And I took a leap of faith and people are like, crazy. Yep, I am. And I still interviewed for jobs when I stepped away. I had a couple interviews and it just didn't feel right, or financially it wasn't smart to move, or location wasn't appropriate for us to move. And so I just stayed steady with this, and it's turned into something bigger than I thought it was going to be.
That's awesome, coach. That's honestly truly probably a dream for a lot of coaches to kind of start off only having to go to two places, learn a lot throughout the way, and then kind of start your own thing. How has it been though? And you talk about it a little bit, like the struggles of like not knowing how to run business. Like the science side of things and how to work with athletes, but we're talking about, hey, now we got to run payroll, now we got to pay taxes, now we got to find a way to keep the doors open, right? Get clients to come in.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it like, man? Like how did it feel to start your own company, and what are some of the things that nobody told you about when it came to starting your own business?
Well, so I've been very blessed. Michael Drock, who runs Drock Performance, in the same spot I do, he's very, very good at the speed, agility, things of that nature. And I was sending some of our players that are getting ready for the combine to him because again, as you age, you start realizing if you're not the best at it and you have someone close that's better than you, refer them out. Like, we didn't have the space and capability to take some of our pro day guys that are NFL hopefuls at Tulsa and train them to the best level that we could because of our schedule or not having a training space to be able to have them run 40s and things of that nature when the weather was bad. So I reached out to Michael and said, hey, I got some guys. I don't know what they can do financially or any of that number, but they have agents. They've got a shot. You want them. So he saw me do that, and then he started sending me people while I was still at Tulsa to work on the neurosensory things, injuries that they just weren't getting better through PT and traditional methods. So I used the nervous system to go through it. So I had a decent layer of clients or athletes that I had known through the Tulsa area that were high school or college guys that would come back. And so he just started sending me people left and right. Like, hey, they got an energy leak here. They don't have this, they don't have that. So I just I literally would sit right where he worked. Didn't have an office, didn't have where I'm at right now. And I just set up a table and some of my equipment and was just like, all right, send them to me. And then it just snowballed into a deal where it's like, okay, well, I don't have enough time in the day now. Like I'm not going to work from 6 a.m. till 9 o'clock at night with these people because that's what I was doing already. Scheduling became a nightmare. People just text me, hey, can you get me in? And when I first started, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get as many people in as I can. And then word got out what I was doing and successes we were having. And all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, we need to make this a little bit more professional, get a logo, get some stuff, brand myself, things that I don't know anything about. But luckily, through the people I've met training or through Drock, like, they all have a skill set that I didn't have. Business owners, high level bankers, and their own business owners that have started from the ground up. And all of a sudden, it just, all these people are willing to help me. So that's what I did. Just being humble enough to lean on people that have done it already, and seeing some of with my neurosensory stuff, I see a lot of older people as well. And a lot of them are very successful business people. So I just, I would talk to them and pick their brain as I'm working on them. And I picked up so many nuggets there where it was just like, wow, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. In the day, if I'm the only one working in my business, then if I want to take a vacation, it's, $1,000 to take a vacation. And then I lose out on 4, 5, 6, 7 people a day. So now I'm taking double the loss. So now I'm in the phase of like, okay, now I need to get somebody that's qualified, that I trust. Again, like I talked about, having assistants that are really good at what I want them to do in the framework where they can still do them and trust them to do it. So then there's still some revenue coming in, to pay the bills, keep the doors open, things of that nature. So I'm in that phase of my business right now. Is for one full year, it was just me. And right now I have 2 intern-ish people that are learning the neurosensory stuff, where get them to the level they need to be, go to the workshops, and then I'll feel comfortable saying, all right, well, your clients are your clients. I might have clients that want to come in, or athletes, you take them, we'll work out, our percentages and stuff like that, which again, I don't know what's fair, what's not, but I know that, some people, I don't believe in having an intern work and not getting paid with how I'm starting this up, because they need to have value and stuff like that. And then small niche with the neurosensory stuff is there's not a whole lot of people that do it. So if you're going to do it, you need to get paid to do it. So that's the phase I'm in right now. We got the logo and and brand, and people know what I do. Now it's getting the right person or people to be able to do that so I can grow even bigger. So a year from now, I'm not in a small office. I'm in 2, 3 different offices where, doctors are referring people over to me or whatever, what it might be. I've been lucky to have really good success with people that have had strokes, and now I got doctors referring me, stroke stroke people that aren't getting to the level they want to at PT or whatever, and so they come see me, and now we're doing some cool stuff there, and so it's been awesome to be a strength coach and worry about the athletic performance side of things. But when you change someone's life that had a life altering event like a stroke or a bad car accident or broken hip replacement, and get them back to what is normal for them, it's a whole nother level of coaching, if you will.
Yeah, that's crazy to go from working with athletes to now working with people that, have gone through like a life altering thing. And this next question comes from one of our former guests that came on, and um this is Coach Alex out of California State University, Fullerton, and he asks, why do you do what you do?
Man, short answer is I like allowing people finding a new level of themselves, like whether it's an athlete, getting them, whether it's a PR or helping them level up so they can get a scholarship, or guys that were on football program, basketball, whatever it is, go play professionally. And to me, if you're a part of someone's journey like that, it's a life-changing event for them. And to have a small part in that is super awesome and humbling. Like you get to, see a guy from his freshman year go end up in the NFL, whether it's a first round, blessed at told we had a couple first round draft picks. That's, that was one of the coolest things I've ever experienced is that, or having a mutual friend who's at Florida State, Tom Farniak, refer his brother who played for the Cowboys to me to help him rehab a hamstring that led me to working with 6 other Cowboys offensive linemen. Like I that was phenomenal. I was at Tulsa at the time, and I was just doing the neurosensory stuff on the side. That led me to this business, and I took a trip to Dallas, thinking I was working on a couple like Farniak and Tyler Smith, who was the guy that played for us at Tulsa, into working on Terrence Steele and Biotic and Zach Martin, and I'm just like, dude, I watched these guys on Sunday. Like, these guys are awesome, and I was able to work on them, and for me to be able to do that and know that I made an impact on their career, and then come back and work on a 64-year-old that just wants to play golf but can't because they had a stroke, and then be able to get them to go back and do that. It's pretty hard to put into words how that makes you feel. So my big why of what I do is just to continue to help people find their better self, whether that's physically
You
or
got me about ready to run through a wall right now.
It's just fun to be on that journey and know that someone trusts you enough with that big responsibility. And as coaches, like, sometimes we get enamored with winning or finding a PR. I've never been a big, like, rah, hey, here you go. You just squatted 600 pounds. Now that's sick. That's fun. But seeing that person that did that and then transition all that adversity that they went through, and now they're playing in the NFL or professional volleyball, or, been able to help a couple pro baseball players, like, that's helping them level up to become who they really want to be, their dreams and aspirations. And they're fulfilling my dream of helping other people and starting a business or being a successful coach. Some of my coolest memories aren't what happened in the weight room or on the football field. It's sitting in my office and a guy coming in and just talking to me, or a girl coming, an athlete coming in and just saying, hey, like, talk to me about life. Like, that I've got lifelong friends now because of that.
Coach, it's awesome to hear, just like continuing on to just not only be a great coach, but being a great person and what you're doing for a lot of the lives out there for others. And I appreciate you just coming on today and keeping it real, spitting an honest conversation about what it's like, not only just to be in the coaching field, but what it's like to start your own business and what it's like to be a husband and a father throughout the whole thing. And it's been really awesome to kind of hear your story. And I appreciate you coming on today and sharing that with us.
Absolutely. I appreciate you reaching out and having me on.